Fans of horror, which sounds a lot like fans of horror, I'm a fan of both, have been eating really well this year. We've had some originals like Weapons knocking it out of the park. Then we've had your tried and true legacy requel garbage like I Know What You Did Last Summer. And now we have a brand new sports horror film called Him, directed, of course, by Jordan Peele. Wait for it. Wait for the outrage. No, it's not actually directed by Jordan Peele. He only produced it. You might be confused, though, because his name has been splashed all over the place, kind of making it seem like this is one of his movies. And so I went in the back of my mind thinking, I hope he has a lot of influence on this in terms of the storytelling, the visuals, and so on and so forth that make a movie great. And while the actual director, Justin Tipping, who also wrote this with two other people, definitely got inspiration from Peele, this movie, this ain't him. I'm going to talk about this film in a spoiler-free review right now. Say before I run out for a pass, round second base, and head for the goal, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to Adam Does Movies, because clearly I don't know sports, but I do know film. You can follow me on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course Instagram, TikTok, all that crap. And now, let's get to it. If you saw the trailer for Him and thought to yourself, wow, this looks intense, unhinged, absolutely bonkers, wild stuff, you're not like entirely off, but a lot of that starts to lose steam the more it piles on. Because when nothing's really grounded in any sort of reality, everything starts to disassociate. And here's what I mean by that. Tyreek Withers plays Cameron Cade. He is the favorite QB to become the next greatest player of all time. Or as they say over and over and over and over and over and over again, GOAT. He's gonna be the GOAT. And when they're not saying he's going to be the next GOAT, they simply refer to him as him. The chosen one, the main player, any other term you want to use that speaks to one person individually as a god amongst mortals. But in order to truly prove himself, he has to attend a weeks-long boot camp with the current MVP, the greatest player of all time, Marlon Wayans as Isaiah White. To say Isaiah's unconventional would be an understatement. He's held up with a bunch of Joe Rogan bros at this isolated compound. No phones, no connection to the outside world, just football. And that is where a large bulk of this hour-and-a-half movie is going to take place. Tyreek Withers wants to make his late dad proud of the man he's become. He really does want to rise to stardom and be the greatest. And so he's willing to go through this boot camp, push himself beyond what is normally humanly possible for one individual, and hopefully have that crown placed atop his head by the time this movie winds down. This is a very simple premise. The script thankfully knows that, keeping this at a tight 90 minutes. It's rated R for a splash of nudity, a good amount of intense dialogue, and some pretty graphic moments late in the game. Nothing that's like, oh my god, I've never seen this before kind of shock stuff, but definitely enough to earn an R rating. While there are some supporting characters that come and go, an influencer wife, an agent played by Tim Heidecker, very random. I love Tim Heidecker, but it's odd seeing him in things that aren't straight up awkward comedies. But the script is really going to put focus on the two main leads here and their budding friendship, possible fallout, possible recovery, fallout again. It's very Sam and Diane shit. Tyreek Withers puts in a very good performance here. Marlon Wayans, however, is in a different league. He's incredibly over the top, very fun to watch. Total loose cannon mentality going on, and for me, he was the one that kept the movie interesting. Unfortunately, as I stated earlier, because so much of it becomes Looney Tunes the further the movie goes on, it starts to feel like you're not really watching anything with a lot of substance. Because ironically, everything feels like a message on top of a message. The movie can't decide what it wants to tackle, so it just tackles everything. We have the patriarchy, we have substance abuse, we have the pressures put on young men to make it to the top. We have body image issues, and then of course we have the overall narrative of just how easy it is for people in a position of power to dominate those below and make them do things they normally wouldn't feel comfortable doing, but because of the situation they're put in, it's almost impossible to say no. While none of these themes are bad to focus on, it all just becomes very murky because of the over-reliance on the horror side of things. We gotta make this trippy and unique and different, so we're gonna throw in fever dreams at times. We're gonna throw in panic attacks that may or may not be happening on screen. It kind of reminded me of the movie Mother, which I just did not like at all. That movie is just a giant metaphor. What really separates this movie from an allegorical nightmare like Mother is how much it whacks you over the head with a hammer to explain what's happening. I quite enjoy when there's a vagueness to the story. The third act leaves no room for interpretation. It tells you everything to a painful degree. Now, as far as the production goes, this is a beautiful looking movie with some kick-ass music. I love the the score is holding up all ships. This thing fires. And when that music is purring along as a football player smashes his head into another guy and it goes into this Mortal Kombat Romeo Must Die-esque X-ray vision, oh, I'm eating it up. Yum, 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 yum. Unfortunately, that's not all the time. Unfortunately, there's just too many moments in this where guys are talking to each other like they're playing a video game. You think you're the GOAT? You think you're the greatest? I'm the greatest, bro. I'm the best. I'm freaking goated over here. Some of the individual training moments where things do feel a little bit more grounded into reality are my favorites of the film. I wish we would have had more of that and less of the, oh, there's a guy face painted and he's pounding war drums and some crazy crap is going on in the background. Focus in on things we can somewhat relate to. That way it ratchets up the intensity when something bad happens. These moments are great. You see in the trailer where the guy puts the football in that launcher and it shoots over, hitting the guy in the face. Every time Cage screws up a throw, another football goes in. They turn that thing up to 11 and they shoot him again. You can feel the pain. You hear the bones cracking. That's good shit. And the last thing I'll say, it's considered a sports horror. Don't get that twisted. This is not a scary movie at all. I think there was maybe one jump scare and not much more to that. It's really a mental game at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, I'm pretty let down by him. I didn't outright hate it. I just didn't love it. It's just sadly one of those movies that fits right in that middle spot there. I wouldn't say rush out and see this one in theaters unless you have one of those passes. Then sure, give it a shot. It's entertaining enough. Maybe worth a stream when it comes home. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer for me. I was really pumped for this film. Bit of a whimper when it was all said and done. Well, there you have it. My thoughts on him. A very straightforward story that is kind of operating under the guise that it's something more deep and profound. But really, it's about as simple as it could get. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Again, think of subbing to the show Adam Does Movies on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. That way you can see me in the future and I would appreciate it. And since I still have you here, I notice you've been eyeing up my t-shirt. You can find it right now on the Adam Does Movies merch store. Just type in Adam Does Movies merch or check out my link in the link tree for it. And then you can pick up one of these beauties for yourself or a loved one. It's a Friday the 13th inspired Adam Does Movies logo. Just in time for Halloween. All right, that's all I got. Hopefully I see you next time. Take care. If you appreciate my content, I am a one-man band. This is a ton of work and you want a way to give back. Head on over to patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. There's tons of exclusive perks over there. Look at these awesome supporters so far. There's some of the best people on this planet and you could be one of them. You could be right there alongside and I would appreciate it.